Even with all the chaos surrounding this conference championship weekend, the AFC title game still demands attention. The Broncos are moving forward under difficult circumstances, but they are not without a path to the Super Bowl. Denver's win over Buffalo was thrilling, but it came with brutal fallout. Bo Nix broke a bone in his ankle late in the game, ending his season and forcing the Broncos to turn to Jarrett Stidham. Asking a backup quarterback, who hasn't seen meaningful regular season action since 2023, to guide a team to the Super Bowl is an enormous challenge. That reality puts the spotlight squarely on Denver's defense. This unit may not be quite as dominant as it was a year ago, but the talent remains undeniable. The Broncos can still dictate games with pressure, depth, and disruption. That matters against a Patriots offense led by Drake Maye, who is ascending rapidly but is still learning how to manage chaos. Houston showed last week that this Patriots offense can be rattled, and Denver has the tools to follow that blueprint. New England advanced, but the divisional round exposed how much work remains on the roster. Of their 15 offensive drives against the Texans, 9 failed to produce a single first down. Over those possessions, the Patriots gained 5 total yards. Weather played a role, but protection issues and a lack of separation were impossible to ignore. When Houston brought pressure, the Patriots had no consistent answers. Denver may not have Houston's exact pass-rushing duo, but it led the league in sacks with a relentless, rotating group. Nick Bonito headlines a unit that saw 8 different players reach at least 4 sacks this season. Against a shaky Patriots offensive line, the Broncos should be able to generate pressure without selling out. That's critical because Maye has shown a tendency to cough up the ball when hit. Strip sacks in short fields could be the difference between survival and elimination for an offense led by a backup quarterback. If Denver can keep the game compressed, force turnovers, and avoid asking Stidham to do too much, the upset is very much on the table. And then there's Buffalo. Terry Pegula's news conference following the firing of Sean McDermott added a completely different kind of chaos to the week. What should have been a routine explanation quickly turned into a spectacle. Pegula claimed McDermott was fired because the Bills lost to Denver, a justification that collapses under even minimal scrutiny. Buffalo turned the ball over 5 times. Josh Allen was responsible for several of those mistakes, none of which were remotely defensible from a coaching standpoint. Despite repeatedly being handed short fields, the Bills' defense largely held firm, forcing field goals and limiting damage. By any reasonable measure, McDermott's defense did its job. Blaming the loss solely on the head coach feels less like honesty and more like deflection. It was messy, confusing, and uncomfortable, and it may come to define this era of Bills football as much as any playoff defeat.